All righty. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just tuning into the chat for a moment, just looking at all your beautiful faces here, as well as your comments. Everybody tuning in from around the world. We have lots of different places here. We got San Diego, Chicago, Ohio, Virginia, Minneapolis, Australia, Chicago, California, Mexico, Virginia. I love it. Michigan. Oh, it's so great to be joined with you guys. And I am happy to be here for this 2 hour masterclass. So, if you guys don't know me, you've never been on any of my workshops, my name is Christopher August. I am a transformational guide, coach, and co founder of Beats and Breath. And really excited to be here with all of you tonight, today, wherever you are in the world. And we have a very special class planned here. There's a lot of beautiful wisdom and information to cover. I see a lot of familiar faces on here, but some faces that I haven't seen before. And it's going to be a really immersive, interactive class today where I'm going to be teaching, of course, I'm going to be guiding, and, really ideally by the end of this workshop today, you will have a lot of information, wisdom you can use on your path forward, where you can apply what you learned today to gain a deeper level of clarity on your path, gain a deeper level of mastery on your path, and really step into who you came here to be. And I'm assuming that many of you on this call have maybe some questions in your mind. Perhaps there's some uncertainty. Maybe you feel stuck or lost or maybe confused on your journey, and you're looking for answers. You're looking to really clarify that path forward. Maybe you already have clarity on your path, but you're looking to deepen into your purpose. You're really ready to deepen into your service and really begin to step into your true power and your greatness that is within you. So, no matter where you at, no matter how you're approaching this, no matter where you are on your journey, this class is for everybody. And you chose to be here for a reason. There's no mistakes that you're here. And what you're going to receive and what I'm going to provide you is a tool set, uh, some teachings that will absolutely empower and inspire you. They have for me, and they have for hundreds of others that I've supported on this path. And so I am just deeply grateful for all of you for showing up, of course, live and also on the replay. So, with that being said, we're going to drop in. And before I get into the presentation, all of that, I really like to attune ourselves and to really set the space. When we're set within ourselves, we're grounded in our core, we can begin to receive the wisdom that is going to be shared tonight. We're going to be able to receive everything with an open heart, with a grounded presence. So, what I would invite you guys to do just for a few moments here, not going to be long, just a few minutes, just closing down your eyes and just finding that comfortable place, whether you're sitting, whether you're laying down, doesn't really matter. Just finding that place where you can feel fully, totally relaxed. And as you do so, I invite you to tune in with your breath. I'm taking a deep, steady inhale in through your nose. And breathe it out into your heart space. Again, deep, steady inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth into your heart space. Again, deep breath in. Filling your lungs all the way up. And exhale slowly out. Just continuing to breathe in the steady, slow motion. Untangling yourself from any inner cobwebs of the mind, of the body. Dissolving any tension, any stress that you may be feeling within yourself. And breathing this light into your heart. Allowing your heart to fully open to that place of receptivity. Tapping into that softness, those yin-like qualities of allowance, of grace, of ease, and of love. And as you breathe into your heart, you're going to anchor down and bring this breath into your belly. As you inhale, really expanding the breath into your core, into your lower abdomen. And finding that point, your center point in your belly, in your navel. That center where all of your intuition lies. That place where you're fully rooted in your power. That life force energy. And you're going to circulate that around your body. Circulating that light, circulating that life force, circulating that power. Not only infusing the cells of your body, but your entire auric field. Allowing your electromagnetic field to grow, to expand. And we'll call forth all guidance, all wisdom from within, allowing that, allowing that inner knowing to be activated, to be awakened, to be turned on. And with this force field of light, knowing that we are protected, that we can be fully supported and anchored into our true selves, our authentic soul expression, allowing that to fully come forth now. And we'll ground all of this energy in with one more deep breath, breathing all the way in. Holding the energy at the top. Feeling into any intention that you might have for this evening. And breathing that out into the etheric field. Letting go. And opening your eyes. Okay. Who's ready to get started? I know I am. So I'm going to present my screen here and share my screen. What I would ask of you guys first, I just want to take sort of a quick poll. Just want to understand where everybody's at. Who is new, completely new to the Gene Keys in this workshop tonight? New, new, new. Okay. Lots of newbies. This is what I like. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So a lot of you are new. That's beautiful. So even if you're not new, there may be some information in here that will support you, on your path. Even if you've been with the Gene Keys for a little bit, I'm going to really try to approach it from a beginner to an intermediate level. Some of you I've seen that have already been through some of my programs, some of my courses that I run for an extended period of time to really bring people deeper into these teachings. But no matter, again, where you are, it's going to be perfect for you. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. So the first half of this is all about the Gene Keys and how to really apply, access this wisdom, and really understand it to the depth where you can begin to use it in your life, in your relationships, in your business, and so forth to really empower you moving forward. So that's the first half of tonight. The second half is a breath work experience. So I'm going to take you on a 30-minute breath work experience. And the reason I provide the teachings of the Gene Keys and combine them with breath work is because it is the ultimate unlock, in my opinion. The Gene Keys is founded on this notion in the art of contemplation. When we contemplate our own Gene Keys, the best way to contemplate that is through the power of your breath. And through breath, you begin to not only commune with yourself, but commune with all of life and allow the wisdom that is within you to come to the surface, to come to the forefront. So at the end, we're going to have a very intentional breathwork session that will help you to really bring forth that clarity you're desiring and help you to really anchor in to these teachings that are provided you tonight. So let me share my screen and we will get started. Okay. So here we go. Welcome to SoulQuest. So what you guys are going to learn tonight, a little bit here about what the Gene Keys are and how to use them to activate and fulfill your higher purpose. You're going to learn about the golden path and the 3 sequences to unlock your genius, open your heart, and liberate prosperity. That is at the core of the Gene Keys. As you go through these sequences, you begin to really put together this data set. And this data set is really a map of your soul. It's what you chose before incarnating into this earthly experience to learn, to master, and to really step into that deeper level of purpose and service. You're going to learn how to use the art of contemplation to tap into your inner wisdom and intuition. I just kind of mentioned that with the breathwork portion. And then you're going to understand how to read your personal profile and utilize it for personal and spiritual transformation. So hopefully all of that sounds good to you. And let's get to the beginning here. So what are the Gene Keys? The Gene Keys, in its simplest essence, is a code book for consciousness expansion. So what this brings together here is multiple systems, but really at the core, it's the 64 archetypes of the Chinese I Ching and your personal astrological makeup. So some of you may have a framework for and understand astrology. Some of you may understand human design. Gene Keys combines a lot of the same things that human design does, but really presents it in a different way. This is a living body of wisdom that when you read, when you listen to it, when you contemplate it, it unlocks these codes that are embedded within your genetic makeup, within your DNA. So we all have these 64 archetypes, these 64 keys that are already embedded within us. And as we go deeper into our personal profile, which we're going to do tonight, we begin to unlock these keys. And when they become unlocked, we turn on our quote unquote power. We step into our gifts and we begin to understand ourselves on a much more profound level. And as a result of that, we can then be of service in a greater way. We can really step into a life that is truly meaningful, that is truly prosperous, that is truly joyful and abundant. Because essentially, all we're doing is removing the cloud cover and we're revealing the sun being your soul. And as you begin to do that, as you begin to reveal who it is you truly are, that is when all of those innate qualities that I mentioned of joy, abundance, of freedom, all of those things are already within you. There's nothing you have to do to fix or to change. It's literally about subtraction, it's about removal, it's about transmutation and alchemy. And when you begin to alchemize the lower states, which we'll talk about in the shadows, we begin to naturally embody and express more of our gifts. And each of you on this call has very specific gifts that you came here to share. And maybe right now you're in this path of your life where you're not feeling totally fulfilled. You're not feeling like you're really living from a place of meaning. Well, these gene keys can really support you and to really step into that and to allow that to come forth. And so this is why I am so passionate about it. It's why I've been working with these teachings for 7 years, which I'll get into in a little bit. But it's so incredibly life-changing and powerful. And this is why I feel so passionate about showing up for 2 hours and teaching all of this for each of you that are on this call. So this is Richard Rudd. He's the founder of the Gene Keys. You know, for me, there's a lot of spiritual teachers out there. There's a lot of guides and people that obviously are bringing forth beautiful wisdom. But what I really love and what I've gravitated towards with Richard and what he's brought through with these teachings is that it comes from it's ancient wisdom, but grounded for you to fully receive and to integrate into your system. And he's also a poet. So a lot of the wisdom that has been channeled is done in a very poetic way. It really speaks to the soul. It speaks to the heart. And so, as I've mentioned before, this is all about unlocking and activating the code and catalyzing the release of your full creative genius and higher purpose in the world. And one thing I want to mention, because this word can be quite triggering for a lot of people in the sense of creativity, right? When we have a very narrow-minded approach of what creativity means. We really often apply this to, oh, I'm creative because I can paint or I can play music or, any of these artistic mediums. And yes, that very much is an expression of creativity, but everybody is creative in their own right. And creativity can look like a multitude of things. And really, creativity comes forth when we tap into our power because we are creator beings, that we are always creating. Yet we do this either unconsciously or consciously. And so the opportunity here is to step into a conscious place of creation where you become the master of your life experience, where you are taking full responsibility for your life and you are doing something with it. You are essentially painting, architecting, designing the life that you desire. And these teachings will help you do so. So I started to step into this work in 2017. I was synchronistically, serendipitously led to these teachings through a friend. I would remember I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a few years after I got back from my Peace Corps experience where I spent 2 years in Africa. And for those of you that know me, I've told this story before, but in 2012, I left my corporate job and I decided to embark on a journey of a lifetime that took me to Tanzania, Africa, where I lived in a small village for 2 years. And this experience serving the community under pretty harsh conditions, living primally, not having any running water, modern amenities, internet, anything like that, electricity. It was a very eye-opening experience. And it was through that experience I was able to really go on this journey of self-discovery and unlock a lot of things within myself. But there was still a lot of missing pieces after that experience. I came back to the United States. I was depressed from this reverse culture shock. I was really not feeling like myself. And I knew that there was something bigger for myself, but it just felt like something was missing. I knew that there was a greater pinnacle of potential that I could reach, but I couldn't find the answers that I was looking for. And I had trained in so many different modalities, from transformational coaching to herbalism to energy work to breath work and all of these things, the breath being one of the most pivotal and foundational pieces for me. But it wasn't until I was introduced to these teachings that I began to truly awaken. And it was like a clear message to my soul. It was speaking to me directly. And every single word that I read from my personal profile, from this book, I drank in this wisdom, and it just began to blossom within me. Now, since then, it's been 7 years, and I'm still unlocking so much. I will never be that person to tell you I have it all figured out, because I certainly don't. And I'm still exploring my own map, my own blueprint, and will continue to do so, because this is multidimensional wisdom that unlocks over time. And so it's not something you just read once and you put down. You can, but if you're truly ready to really begin to embody more of your potential and why you came here, this is a key. This is an unlock for you. And this is why I'm sharing it. So I'm very excited to really dive in now, and we're going to get into the core of everything right now. So does everybody have their profile in front of them? If you don't, it's okay. But it will be a little bit more helpful to follow along, and you can kind of see with some of the imagery that I've painted here and put together in these slides that will help you to begin to truly understand how your profile works. So looks like a lot of you have it already, which is great. So just follow along with me. There's nothing you have to do. You don't have to read through it. We're going to take it step by step, breath by breath through the whole thing. And by the end of it, you should have an idea of, what all of this means. Okay. So as I mentioned, your profile is calculated from your astrological makeup, from your time, place, date of birth. This is where all the planets were aligned at your time and place of birth, and how this has influenced what it is you came here to learn, what it is you came here to master, and so forth. And so, with that being said, there's a few things we're going to look at, and each of these kind of have their own slides. This is kind of just an overview. So we're going to go through the activation sequence. We're going to go through the Venus sequence and the Pearl sequence, and how this all ties together to create this comprehensive overview of your profile. Now, as I mentioned before, there's 64 gene keys. These are also, we can correlate them with 64 archetypes that are within us, that are embedded within us. But on your personal profile, there's 11 spheres. Now, some of you may be looking at your profile and you'll see 2 gene keys or 3 gene keys, 4 gene keys manifest in different spheres throughout your profile. That just means the energy is amplified. And that's an energy that you've come here to really work with on a deep level. So with that being said, the only other thing I'll mention right now is we're going to start just kind of going in this bit by bit, piece by piece, starting with the shadow, the gift, and the city, and how that manifests and what that actually means. So every gene key has a shadow, it has a gift, and it has a city. You're also going to see over here, we have these line numbers. I'm not going to cover the line numbers today, because that's a whole teaching in itself. And that's something I do in my programs that I take people through, because they're very important to understand the lines, because they help to really fulfill and tell the entire story of the gene keys. But this masterclass would have to be at least another hour for me to do so. So we're just going to go over the sequences. We're going to go over the frequencies of the shadow, the gift, and the city. And I'm also going to do some intuitive guidance for some of you that want to bring forth your gene keys onto this call, and we can talk a little bit about it. But other than that, we'll keep it sort of condensed in that way because this is a very large body of wisdom that goes very, very, very deep. Okay, so on your profile, if you look at your profile, you'll see all of these gene keys, these 11 gene keys. And next to them, you're going to see these 3 words, right? And the 3 words, starting from the bottom to the top, it starts with the shadow, it goes to the gift, and it goes to the city. So we all have these shadow patterns, right? And this place in which unconscious fear is within us. And the idea around the shadow, and some of you may have been exposed to shadow work. I do a lot of shadow work with my clients because shadow work is critical to not only healing ourselves, but to stepping into more of who we are. And so it's through the shadow we begin to unlock our gifts. When we have the courage to dive deep into the underworld of our unconscious mind, we begin to understand how and in what ways conditioning and programming has played out externally, but also internally. Remember, I said at the beginning is that you chose these patterns. You may have different spiritual beliefs, but the idea behind this is that your soul, pre-incarnation, coming to earth, decided that these would be your core lessons, some of your core challenges that you would learn from. And as a result of learning from them, as a result of developing yourself and diving deep into these shadows, you would ultimately emerge as the hero of your own story and emerge into this place in which you are anchored fully in your power, in your purpose, and what it is you came here to express, embody, and share with the world. And so then we move into the gift frequency, and the gift is really where we spend a lot of our time when we contemplate, which I'll talk about a little bit more. 90% of our intention goes into the gift, about 10% into the shadow. And as we focus on our gifts, this frequency begins to unlock. So there's been a lot of, sort of old paradigm scientists that say, oh, you have this junk DNA. There's nothing junk within you. It's just DNA that hasn't been fully utilized and turned on and activated. And so what these teachings do is they help to activate the latent DNA within you. And as a result, it's almost like you can think of your favorite superhero. Maybe as a kid, you watched different movies or cartoons, or you were into comic books and you were reading about these superheroes. You are a superhero in your own right. And those gifts that you hold within yourself are those superhero qualities. And when you activate and unlock that key, those turn on and those become expressed. The last thing here is the acidic state. So what it means is to be in a acidic state. It's the highest expression or the highest potential of that gene key. Okay. So as you go deeper into this wisdom, you may experience enlightened states of being. You may have moments of enlightenment. Sometimes that can even happen through practices like breath work, where you go into a breathwork experience and you have an aha, a breakthrough moment, a satori moment. People that are on this call may work with plant medicine. At times that happens as well through the power of these plant allies. But this can also happen in a very random and sporadic ways. And so we just open ourselves up to receive what it is that wants to be shown to us in any given moment. And if you guys have any questions as I'm going through this, put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them as we go along. So as I mentioned, the central technique of the Gene Keys is all about contemplation. So, if you have a Gene Keys book, which I have right here, of course, you can get a digital copy as well. As you read through your Gene Keys, as you go through them, which I'm going to teach you how to do that today, you go through this art of contemplation where you look at this body of wisdom when you're contemplating a Gene Key, and you're really not trying, but you're really beginning to understand how this wisdom applies to your life, to your work, to your relationships, to your health, and so forth. And as you begin to do so, you begin to create this and activate this process of alchemy where you will begin to feel a biochemical, psychological, physiological, energetic shift within your being. And most of you, I'm assuming all of you on this call, understand that the way in which reality is created, and there's science on this now, and there's a lot of beautiful work that's out there, is that reality is created from the inside out. It's created from our own quality of consciousness that we're experiencing at any given moment. And so as we raise our consciousness, as we raise our awareness, and we begin to step into our gift state, your reality shifts. And everything is on a vibrational level. And so your vibrational level is dependent upon your energetic state, your emotions in any given moment, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. All of that is creating this vibrational state within you. And as you transmute the shadow states and you raise that level of consciousness, you raise that vibrational state, you begin to align with different people, opportunities, experiences, resources that support you in truly living and walking your unique path. And so that's what contemplation is all about in a nutshell. It goes much deeper than that. And there's a lot of different resources that I'll provide after this that you can go deeper on. Okay, so now we're going to get into these 3 sequences. Okay, and the sequences, as you see here on this map, and as you'll see on your profile, they'll all be filled in here. These sequences are like a journey. And this is why I love it, because I've always been obsessed with this idea around your own hero's journey and walking your hero's journey. You are the hero of your own story. And that's what the Gene Keys provide you, is this map that you can follow as you go on this soul quest, this inner quest within yourself, to discover your genius, to open your heart, to liberate your prosperity. And all of this together is called the golden path. And so let's get into the activation sequence. And this is what we're going to be focused on most tonight. So in our activation sequence, we have 4 keys. You'll see the key at the top of your profile, which is your life's work. You'll see your evolution that's connected by that line. You'll see across the profile on the left side, your radiance, and then down at the bottom, your purpose. So as a synthesis here, your life's work is really the reason you do what you do. It can have an indication of what it is you're here to do as far as external work in the world, your creative expression. That has a lot to do with it, but it's also about the reason you do what you do, the reason, the why behind your role, your vocation that you play in life. Your evolution is in direct opposition of your life's work, and this is your single greatest challenge in your lifetime. So this is a challenge that you are going to face over and over and over again in a multitude of ways. And really what this challenge is ultimately meant to do for you, it's a catalyst to transcend your suffering and find peace within yourself. Now, if I had a show of hands in here, how many of you have had your own fair share of suffering and struggle and challenge in your life? Well, when you look deeply into this evolution, into the sphere of evolution, and you begin to contemplate it, you begin to work with the energy of it, you begin to have this breakthrough. And this breakthrough comes in the form of many different things, of inspiration, of creativity, of radiance, which we'll step into that sphere now. And radiance is really about this inner blossoming of your light. So we all have this light, this energy within us. And as we allow that to shine forth from inside of us outwards, externally, this begins to ultimately support us in becoming physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually healthy and vital. So this is your radiance. This is the key. It's one of the most magical keys of the Gene Keys. It's one of my favorite keys and something I've contemplated over and over again. And I've received a lot of insights, a lot of clarity from the contemplation of this key. And I can imagine if you're looking at your profile right now, you might be looking at some of these and perhaps some of it resonates. There's some overviews on your profile that will help you to understand this a little bit more. Then you have your purpose. Now, I've said this and I'll say it again because I've said it many times before. Your purpose is not so much about what you are here to do, it's what you are here to be and become. So, your purpose is this living field of wisdom that lies within your DNA. And as you begin to pursue this path of walking this golden path through the gene keys, you unlock and activate these forces of synchronicity that begin to show you that purpose, that living field of energy that's within you. And all your job is to really step into the expression of that gift frequency in your purpose. And that is a felt experience from those around you. People, we are all energetic beings, and we're all transmitting data, information all of the time. We are all providing information to each other, whether we're speaking or not. And so when you begin to embody your purpose, that is a felt experience by those around you. And therefore, you're catalyzing this awakening, this ascension in and around you. And it's a very, very powerful key because this then bleeds into your Venus sequence, which we're going to go over in a second. But I'm going to pause here because I just covered a lot of information in a very short amount of time. And I want to ensure that everybody has a chance to answer any questions they might have. So if you feel called, you can put something in the chat, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have around what we just covered. And we'll just pause for a second to see if there's anything. And if not, we'll move on to the next sequence. Okay, I'm assuming that everybody's feeling good. Let's see, we got one thing in the chat. Do gene keys? Okay, we got a couple here. Perfect. All right. So, do gene keys connect to the themes of past lives? So that's a great question. And that's a question I've asked myself. And I do believe that we reincarnate with certain patterns that maybe we haven't fully mastered in a past life, and therefore would carry that forth into this life. There's no direct way of telling. But I do feel intuitively that we do have these connections where perhaps we've lived a life and that energy that or that challenge that maybe was presented to us, we didn't have the courage at that time to fully, face and go into. And so maybe that is then replicated into this lifetime. So perhaps that is the case. Rob asked, do I need the book? For this purpose of this masterclass, no, but if you want to take it deeper and you want to go further into the contemplation of your gene keys, yes, I highly recommend the book. And anytime I bring people through my programs, the book is very much needed because that's how we go much deeper into these teachings. Today is a one-on-one type of an experience. But your free profile will provide you overviews and statements that will support you. Sarah asked, what if you have no way of understanding your birth time? You really want to try to find, because it's connected to your astrology, and it's very important to have somewhat of an accurate time. Now, morning, afternoon, evening, you can kind of guess from that standpoint, but you want to come within a couple hours of that time if that's possible, because if not, your profile will look totally different. I've met people, I've done hundreds of readings for people, and some people that have the same birth date. And I've even had someone in the same birth city, and they had two different times and they had two completely different profiles. So it definitely matters. Trevor, it feels like certain keys are coming online at the same time. Is it better to go with the flow as indicated, or generally good to, yes, great question. So, these teachings can be used as an oracle. So you can essentially open them and, kind of look at your profile and look at where you're being called to the most. I do recommend that everybody goes through, if you're interested in diving deeper into this, to go through all three sequences, because there is a massive unlock that happens when you do them in order. Because as you discover your genius, you then move into opening your heart in the Venus sequence, which we'll get into in a second. And then, of course, through opening your heart and discovering your purpose, you liberate your prosperity. So it all kind of goes in this beautiful sequential order, but you can also use as an oracle. Yeah, thank you, Jolie, for that comment on the birth chart. What if you don't immediately connect with what your profile says? My recommendation would be to take this deeper. I've rarely, again, I've done this for multiple years. I've led many programs with many people. I don't think I've met maybe 1, 2 people that haven't connected with their profile. So you may also want to check your birth times if there isn't something resonating there, but also to take it deeper into the book. As you read more through your gene keys, you'll start to understand the energy more. I also saw that Maya had a hand up. So Maya, if you have had your hand up, you can unmute yourself and you can ask a question if you feel called.
Hi, Christopher. Just say apologies. I didn't make it on time today, but so far so good. I really liked everything that you said. That's all I wanted, just to say hi to everyone. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, that's not a problem at all. We'll save or send the replay after so you can catch the beginning. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. All right, let's move on. We'll move to the Venus sequence, and then we're going to circle back around and tie this all together. So don't worry about like comprehending too much of the information I'm throwing at you right now. I'm just giving you a holistic overview of everything. So after you've gone through the activation sequence, you go through the Venus sequence. And one thing I want to mention here is that you don't just read these once and you're good to go, like once a day, and then, you can move to the Venus sequence. This is my recommendation. Richard's recommendation is that you spend at least 1 year going through your entire profile. 1 year. Now, that might sound like a lot, but if you have this book, it's very thick. There's a lot of wisdom in here, and it's not a mental, conceptual, logical, analytical process. It's a felt experience where you go through these and you pace yourself. And as you do so, that's how you begin to unlock. That's what contemplation is about. It's about patience. So, I take people through all the sequences, but we spend multiple weeks going through them. We don't just go through them in a day and we're done. So it's definitely one of those things that unfolds over time. Okay, so we get into the Venus sequence. Now, there's really 6 keys in the Venus sequence. I didn't talk about the sixth. The sixth key is purpose, because purpose bleeds over from your activation sequence into your Venus sequence. The sphere of purpose, the meaning of it changes. It's not just the purpose of your life, but it then becomes the purpose and transforms into the purpose in your relationships. So that shadow that's in your purpose is a shadow that you've probably seen from time and time again in your relationships. And the Venus sequence is all about relationships. Your relationship to yourself, your relationship to others, and specifically with intimate partners. And those relationships that you're in with family and intimate partners, obviously, as we know, provide the most insight, but also the deepest wounds and triggers. And they're great mirrors. And that's what the Venus sequence is all about. It's deep, profound work. So the attraction field, this is like your sacral chakra. This is your magnetic power. This is your creative sexual life force energy that flows in there. Now, the shadow of it has a lot to do and governs your sexuality. It governs your creativity. It governs how you manifest. And it's all about drawing forth certain people and experiences in your life. And as you go through the attractor field, you pull in certain relationships into your life at specific times for you to learn. At first, this may represent or look like it's happening from the shadow frequency, especially if you haven't gone through the shadow work of transmuting that. And then as you begin to transmute that, you begin to draw forth higher, more conscious level of relationships into your life. That's the attractor field. The IQ is all about your mental state, right? Your intelligence. And this is governing your 14 to 21 cycle, which is your mental developmental stage. And in the shadow state, this is where you've learned to use your mind to control your emotions and override your intuition. That's in the shadow state. So the idea here is to transform that shadow into its gift, where your mind is functioning at a very balanced and high level. Then you go into your EQ, which is your emotional sphere. That's your emotional intelligence. And this develops from your 7 to 14 cycle. So this is your wounding from 7 to 14. And this is very, very important because most of us, most adults are stuck in this age gap. They may be 50 years old, but they're still emotionally a 10-year-old. And so your emotions are incredibly important to work with. They are divine messengers that are here to support you in unlocking more of your potential. But unfortunately, most of us haven't been really taught on how to work with our emotions. And this key is all about that. Then we go into our SQ, which is our spiritual heart. And this is the first cycle in our life, our 0 to 7 cycle. And this is all about our physiological rhythms in life that have a basis on our identity. Now, for any of you that understand psychology, 0 to 7 is the most important, profound cycle of our entire lives. It shapes our lives. So, any wounding, trauma, things you've experienced within this cycle, this will manifest throughout your relationships and throughout your life. Now you have your imprint here, which is obviously through your gene keys, there is a shadow that's already been imprinted pre-birth. But of course, externally through our parents, through our caregivers, we naturally incur certain wounding that we're here to overcome. Then we move into our core. And this relates to the 9-month gestation period. This is when you're in the womb. So physically, emotionally, mentally, what was imprinted within you when you were in your mother's womb? As we now know through certain research and of course through metaphysics and spirituality, there's a lot of information that tells us that your mother's state during that time is incredibly important to your programming, to your imprinting, to your conditioning. You are essentially soaking up all of her stuff in your womb, in your DNA. And as you begin to unwind this, which they call it the ancient wound, you begin to step into your vocation, which we're going to go into in our Pearl sequence. So overall, the Venus sequence, I personally, as I've gone through this, have had very, 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 very powerful experiences that have shaped where I'm at today. And I've gone through this sequence 3 times personally, and it's been extremely profound. So that's the Venus sequence. Does anybody have questions around the Venus sequence? I'll pause for a moment. You can put it in the chat if you do so. Amanda, I have a paradox with my IQ, 57 clarity with the city of intuition, but the slide is saying this is how we override our intuition. Can you explain the paradox? Okay. So your IQ is clarity, and your city is intuition. So the shadow of that gene key of 57, and that is a very interesting placement for gene key 57, also very powerful gene key I've contemplated in much detail over the years. But with the shadow state playing out here, this is all about you transmuting that to step into a place of clarity. So with that specific key in that placement of your IQ, let me ask you this. What's the gene key across in your EQ? You can just put it in the chat. 29 devotion. Okay. So the sort of magnetic power here with the 57 place in the IQ is that your intuition will sort of be expressed in more of a powerful way, perhaps. I don't know what your relationship right now is to your own intuition, but with the placement there, knowing that this is all about moving into a more intuitive place in your life, this energy is more powerful in that placement. Therefore, your intuitive capabilities, your intuitive abilities will be naturally enhanced as you work with that gene key, whether it's in that placement or not. That's naturally imprinted into your genetic makeup. So, I would have to look at your whole profile to kind of get the whole idea. And I asked about the EQ because there's a line directly connects you right from the IQ to the EQ. But having a full overview of the profile would be a lot more helpful if I were to read it to understand it on a deeper level, because all the lines are connected in certain ways and also the line numbers. So, but great question. Hopefully that answered some of your question there. Okay, before we go into the Pearl, does anybody else have questions? After this, I'm gonna, a few of you guys, if you guys want to volunteer, I'm gonna do like a quick little, riff on some gene keys here before we go into the breath work. Anybody else have questions? All right. Thank you guys for sticking with me here. Hopefully this is helpful. Actually, put it in the chat. Is this helpful? Are you guys learning something? Does this feel like there's a lot here that is helpful for you? Okay, good. I like to get that confirmation here, make sure everybody's on the same page. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. All right, guys. So we go into the sphere of our vocation. Now, as I mentioned in the Pearl sequence, this is all about liberating your prosperity. And we move into vocation, which is our core wound in our Venus sequence. So think about this. Your greatest wound becomes your vocational role. Powerful stuff. Very, very powerful. So that role that you're here to play in life, in community, in collaboration, on teams, and so forth, it all has to do with you doing that deeper inner work to be able to step fully into that. And this is all about being of service to the whole. So the holy grail question of the gene keys, and if you were to leave with nothing else tonight, if you were just to drop everything I told you and you were just to ignore every single word I said tonight, the one thing I would ask for you to carry with you is this one question. A question that is worth contemplating. How can I be of the greatest service to the whole? How can I be of the greatest service to the whole? We often move into sort of, because of our conditioning programming, we weave within our own life's ecosystem from sort of a point of tension within us. And at first, it's service to ourselves. Of course, our basic needs, our survival needs, making sure they're taken care of, that we're making money and ensuring that we have our families taken care of and so forth. But the higher question here is, how can I be of greatest service to the whole? Because when you step into your true vocation and purpose in life, prosperity naturally finds you. Prosperity meaning not only money, but resources, opportunities, people, all of those things show up when you step into your true calling, your soul's calling. That's what this is all about. And that's what the Pearl sequence is all about. It's about leading from that place. And trust me, we all have gone through our own wounding and stories around this. And the Pearl sequence also talks a lot about money and the new paradigm of money and how that is represented in your life and how it is you're meant to steward money. This has very much to do with a lot of that. And there's a lot of deep wisdom there for everybody that goes through this sequence. So we move into our culture, and this shows how we best serve and fit into to society, really. And This is also the shadow here blocks you from manifesting prosperity. So whatever your shadow is here, that is what you really look into. If you are not feeling and embodying the space of prosperity, this consciousness of prosperity within you, you're not experiencing prosperity in your reality, in your external life, this shadow will naturally block it. So when you work with the shadow and you transmute the shadow and move into your gift, you become naturally a more prosperous individual. Then we move into our brand, which is our life's work. So our life's work becomes our brand. So it flips meanings here. And this is all about your authentic expression. And this is all about how you communicate with others. Okay. So let's say in your brand and you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business. How are you communicating your message with the world? How are you communicating your message amongst the people you work with? This is honest and clear communication. This is your brand. This is your authentic expression. Then we move into our pearl. Now, this is the last sphere of the 11 spheres in your Gene Keys profile. And this reminds you what is truly essential in your life. And when you look into the line number here, this is all about money. It's all about how you're here to steward money, how it is you're meant to share your resources with others. And also this pearl is the full blossoming and awakening of your true self. And it's a very, very, very powerful key, very transformative key. And that is right at that center top, which is truly that pearl coming to life here in your pearl sequence. So let's see what else I got. Okay, we're going to stop here. Okay, everybody. So I have a few questions here, or one question. Let's see. Is there any significance between having two of these as the same number? So I mentioned in the beginning, if you have double, triple the same gene keys in your profile, it really means that that energy, that archetype is going to be much more prominent and stronger in your life experience. And it's something that you came here to really master. Okay, so whatever that gene key is, that's going to show up in or different facets of your life. And it depends on which sequence it manifests in. If it manifests in your Pearl sequence, Venus sequence, activation sequence, and where that shows up and how that energy is related to those sequences. So Trevor, it doesn't say brand on your profile. That's just sphere of your life's work. It's just that your life's work turns into your brand. It just flips its meaning when you contemplate it from that perspective of the pearl sequence. Okay. So before we go into a breathwork journey, I'm going to pause here for a second because I want to take you guys through a powerful experience here. So what I'm going to, really bring into the forefront here is this gene key of your life's work. Okay. It's the first gene key of your profile. And so let's play a little game here. I want everybody, if you have your profiles in front of you, put down your gene key and your line. So it'd be like 58.3 or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. Put your gene key and your line of your life's work in the chat. And I'm just going to allow some of these to come in. If you don't feel like volunteering that information, you don't have to. But I'm just going to take a look here, and I'm going to pick a couple, and we're gonna do a little riff here on some gene keys, and just kind of share with you some of the wisdom that wants to come through, and just kind of tap into some intuitive guidance here. So I'll wait for maybe another minute, let you guys put that in the chat, and then I'm just gonna randomly pick a couple, and we'll riff on it. Beautiful. Seeing a lot of different gene keys here. I like what I'm seeing. All right. Beautiful, guys. All right. I'm going to pick one. I'm just going to scroll through the chat and I'm just going to randomly choose this. Start from the top. All right. 59. We'll do 50. I'll do a couple here, but we'll start with 59, 59.3, Alma. Beautiful. Okay. So this is the shadow of dishonesty, the gift of intimacy in the city of transparency. Powerful, powerful, powerful gene key. So when we look at this shadow of dishonesty, we always first point within. Okay. And this is going to apply to everybody because everybody has all 64 archetypes within them. Even if this gene key is not in your profile, listen in and tune into this, what's to come through here. So 59 in this shadow of dishonesty, when we look at the shadows of any of our gene keys, we go into this place where we first point within, right? So we take our finger and we point within ourselves and we ask ourselves the golden question. And in this case, the shadow is dishonesty. Where are we being dishonest with ourselves? Where am I being dishonest with myself? How am I fooling myself? In what ways am I lying to myself? Dishonesty will naturally get and cloud our judgment. It will get in the way of actually deeply connecting with ourselves, with our souls, with another, with the world as a whole. This frequency will really bring us down into a state in which we are filled with fear, which we are controlling our lives. And so to truly be intimate, we must totally be honest with ourselves and be willing to accept and express our deepest fears. And then understand when we are opening our hearts. I mean, this is a gene key that when it's in the shadow state, its heart is closed. It may have been hurt. It may have manifested relationships, experiences in which this frequency of dishonesty has been covering up our hearts and has closed ourselves down. And we feel terrified to open ourselves up, to rise into a place of open-heartedness where we can truly let another one in, where we're willing to let go of control, where we're really willing to open ourselves up to be influenced on an emotional level. This is a deeply emotional key. And so if you carry a wound in this placement with this gene key, it can be very scary because we have these fears of being trapped or abandoned or rejected or betrayed, and we judge all of these feelings that are coming within us. But when we open ourselves up to this deep level of intimacy, now the base surface level of intimacy is fully transcended in this case, where we open up to an intimacy with life, where we unleash a greater amount of creativity, of beauty, of sensuality, and possibility of our lives. And so there we become fully open, we become fully transparent. And there's so much we can do to live from that open heart. And this line number here with the line 3 is the archetype of the changer. And the changer is all about changing, about experiencing many different fabrics of life with the intention of learning, of going through trial and error. This may look like many different relationships, many different jobs, businesses, all sorts of things. There's a change that's always happening, and it could feel very unstable, especially in its shadow frequency, where you might be gripping on for control and not willing to fully let go into life, into the intelligence of life. And instead of comparing yourself to a place in which maybe you see others that are stable and living this sort of stable life, that's not the idea here. The idea is to go through these changes, to experience that, to trial and error, to gain wisdom in your life, to apply to your relationships and other aspects of life. So that's just a little riff on 59. So hopefully that resonates, and maybe it resonates with more than even if you don't have it on your profile. All right, let's go into one more gene key here, and we'll just pick another random one. So we'll do 39.6. 39 is the shadow of provocation, the gift of dynamism, and the city of liberation. Powerful gene key as well. 39, the shadow of provocation. You are being provoked by life. It's like poking the bear, right? You're just constantly being pushed and prodded and triggered into what can be in its shadow states a very violent, volatile, rageful, angry type of expression, in which when you are provoked, specifically in your relationships or in any other aspect of life, this can be a lot of fire coming out from deep within you. And it's oftentimes when we feel trapped or imprisoned by fear in our life that this ultimately comes out. It also comes out in childhood when we are taught and told by our caregivers that we are not enough in any state that we're expressing. That if we were to express this vital, dynamic energy, that is suppressed or repressed or told, that is not a healthy expression. Anytime we're expressing anger or sadness or anything like that, we repress all of these and they move into our shadow. And when they reside within the shadow, this creates the tension, the tightness, the oppressionary energy of anger that really stirs within us. And then when we're triggered, it comes out and spews out, and it can really affect our life and our relationships in this shadow state. In the gift state, it moves into this dynamic flow of energy where this life force energy is flowing through those parts of you, that energy that may have been stuck and stored within you. It can now freely flow because you're healing that part of yourself. And as you become more dynamic, as you become more free and liberated within yourself, you have the sacred responsibility as it pertains to your life's work to liberate others, to provoke others in a sacred way that catalyzes them into their own state of freedom. So it can be a very outspoken expression. It can be a very provocative expression. But when it comes from a gift state, it doesn't do it from a place of judgment. It doesn't do it from a place of fear or anger. It does it from a place of compassion to really provoke you into that state in which you awaken. And so that's the gift here of using that voice. And so the sixth line here, which you mentioned, 39.6, it's the archetype of the teacher. And this can be expressed in many different ways. The sixth line here is to be a teacher in some capacity, to first be a student to learn from life, but then to teach wisdom, to teach others, walking this path of awakening and really stepping into a full-bodied expression. So very powerful gene key 39.6 there. All right. Beautiful. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. Again, I could do this for hours. I mean, I could do a whole class just riffing on these because they're just so powerful. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to take the energy of the gift, okay? So your gift that's in your life's work, I want you, even if you don't understand what the word means, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's a frequency, it's an essence. I want you to take this into the breathwork experience that we're about to go on for the next 25 to 30 minutes. And I want you to feel into the power that's here as it pertains to your life's work, your life's expression. Okay. So if you feel called, I know I asked you to put the gene key in there, but if you want to put your gift, and we can all really harmonize around these gifts that we all have. So put your gift in the chat as well. So we have mindfulness. I'll read a couple of them: equality, freshness, sensitivity, synergy. 45, it's a powerful one. Intuition, inspiration, authority, yes. Rebirth, equilibrium, perseverance. I love that. I got 38 there as well. Perseverance, intimacy, creativity, precision, creativity, synergy. Yes, yes, yes. 56, enrichment. I love it. So really bring this into the contemplation. The contemplation is not thinking about the gift. It's not doing it from this place. It's bringing it into the heart. By the end of the breath work, allowing the energy, breathing into that gift, allowing that gift to be breathed, and allowing whatever messages want to come into your consciousness through this experience. So does anybody have any questions before we jump into this? I'll give you a couple minutes to get settled. If you have a pair of headphones, grab a pair of headphones. And you want to find a place to lie down. We're going to be going through 3 rounds of breath work, really utilizing the power of our breath to breathe into our true state, our true self. Does anybody have any questions about the breath work? I just naturally assume that all of you have interacted with my breath work before. And I don't like to always make assumptions, but if you have questions, instead of me explaining everything, because I know there's a lot of people on here that already have gone through my breathwork experiences. If you have a question about it, just let me know and I'll be sure to answer any questions. The last thing I'll say about this experience, the invitation is to let go, to just no expectations, nothing, not allow anything to cloud the experience of this felt state working with your breath. Allow everything to come through, whatever needs to come through, whether it's just a feeling of peace, whether it's some anxiety, some shadow states to be transmuted, or whether it's a guidance or a piece of guidance or wisdom or message that needs to come forth for you. Whatever it is, it's perfect for your experience. And I'll invite you guys to lay down, to get comfortable, put on your headphones if you have them. If you don't, no worries. And we're going to come back after that and we're going to integrate the experience. We're going to have a few people share and then we'll stick around to the end and I'll give you guys an opportunity to deepen into this work. And I really appreciate you guys for being here. And I very much look forward to seeing you guys on the other side of this experience. So get ready and we're going to dive in. Inviting you now into this quiet, comfortable place. Getting yourself settled. As we dive into this experience, this activation of our authentic soul expression.
We'll just set the space by taking a deep breath in and exhaling all the way out. Again, deep breath in. And exhale, release all the way out. I'm just continuing to circulate that breath as we prime ourselves, our bodies, for this inner quest, this journey to unlock and awaken more of who we truly are. The essence of your life's work. The gift that you came here to share. And as you breathe, we seed that gift. We plant the seed of that gift into our heart space, placing it there into the fertile soil of love, of grace, of compassion, of gratitude. And we breathe life into it. We allow it to grow in its own natural timing, in its own natural rhythm. And in a few moments, we're going to begin on my count, breathing in this 4/4 rhythm, in through the nose, out through the mouth, preparing on my count. In 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in. Up to the top and fall gently out. circulation, the flow. Breathing into the roots. Energizing, awakening, activating all the places within that need healing, that require cleansing. Liberating all stuck, stagnant energy. Becoming one with this breath. Stepping into the natural flow of life. In a few moments, we're going to carry this energy back in with one collective inhale in 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, hold, applying the root lock, the navel lock, carrying, spiraling, circulating the energy upwards all the way up to your third eye, to your crown. And exhale it, let it go back down. Full exhale, full release, holding your breath on empty. My count, we're gonna breathe in 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale. Hold at the top. dropping deeper, relaxing into presence. Together on my count, we breathe in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Getting ready to breathe in a 2-2 rhythm on my count. 3, 2, 1. That's right. Feeling that breath permeate all of your cells, opening your heart to greater level of presence, of awareness, of peace. Of light, allowing this gift to come to the surface, to be fully felt, to be fully experienced. All barriers, all limitation, all shadow, so that all truth may be fully revealed. That's it now. Stay with it. levels, those deeper states. Together on my count, we're gonna take that one big powerful inhale, getting ready in 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, hold it at the top, carry the light to the crown. Fully release it back down. Back out into the ether as you drop deeper. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Breathing the light out into your heart space. Dropping into emptiness. Fully activating all guidance systems, intuition, remembrance of your true calling, of your true purpose. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Exhale. Getting ready to rise higher in 3, 2, 1. In. to that flow. As you begin to elevate, as you begin to soar, feeling the rise of all power, of all prosperity, of all purpose. Awakening from the depths, from the core. Turning on that life force. Connecting with the greater field of universal intelligence. Anchoring you into your life's work. Into your soul expression. Feel it moving through you, feel it all around. Tapping into that higher vibration. Let's go. That's right. Calling forth all support. Calling forth the frequencies of trust and love. To guide you on your path to greatness. And together, we're going to carry this energy in 3, 2, 1, filling yourself up. Holding that at the top. Allowing your field to grow, to expand. And exhale, release it back out into the earth. Pausing in this moment. breathe in 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold, squeeze, constrict the energy, spiral it all the way up, 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 up. And release. Just holding there for a brief moment. As you attune yourself to any higher wisdom, guidance, or messages for you. Gently, slowly come back into our breath, breathing in and breathing out. I'm just returning now to that steady pace, to that natural inhale and exhale. As you fully integrate all of the energy that you've cultivated during this practice today. And as you commune with your own breath, you can just silently allow these words to filter into your subconscious, unconscious mind. If you feel called, repeating after me. I am supported on my path. I am guided on my mission. I am led with love. I trust myself. I trust my breath. I trust life. I trust that I will be led to exactly where I need to be. I open myself up to limitless possibilities, potentialities, and resources. I know that no matter what, I am always safe, seen, and supported. May I walk with confidence. May I walk with clarity. May I walk with purpose. I am whole. I am prosperous. I am free. And then as you take a few more deep breaths, we'll slowly and gently come back together in this space to share, to reconnect, and to close this space that we've created here today. As you stretch gently, as you move in whatever way that feels comfortable for you, bringing your body back to full feeling and bringing yourself gratitude for this moment, for this time to journey within. I'm just welcoming everybody back. How are you feeling? How was your experience? You can put it in the chat. Amazing, amazing. Very deep, powerful. Many visions and insights. Wow. Beautiful, guys. Divine, wonderful, otherworldly. Went to the quantum field. Olivia, thank you for your beautiful message. Psychedelics and peaceful. Thank you, Kyle. Always love stepping into this space with you guys and being here. And man, it's just such an honor to serve in this way. You know, and for me personally, just be able to be in my life's work and my life's purpose, and to have attributed that to these teachings, to my own breath.
all of what I do is contributed to that and falls back on that. That's why I'm teaching this to you guys, because for me, doing this is my gift of service. It's also what I'm deeply passionate about and what I know provides impact for people. And every single one of you has that capacity within you. You have a unique gift that you're here to share with the collective. And I'm just so grateful to see the unfoldment of that and all the people that I work with. And so let's see, I had such a profound experience at the very end, round 3. I looked up in the Gene Keys, one of my past lives, human of birthday. Let's find out SQ of 9, invincibility is my purpose. That was the contemplation of invincibility. Wow. Thank you guys. Wow, I'm super excited. I love reading these comments. It's really amazing. So I know we're just at time now, 2 hours. I love to respect people's time because I know you have all lives. You might be parents, you might be doing other things. And so it's all good. I'm just going to keep you for a couple more minutes. So I just want to say first and foremost, thank you for showing up, for being here, for offering yourselves, to saying yes to yourself and to this experience. It truly means a lot to me. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And so, as I've mentioned throughout the presentation, I do offer deeper experiences into the Gene Keys, and I take people on these group experiences. And so, for me to keep integrity with this work, because it's meant so much to me, because I've went through their guides program, I really take people through an immersive deep dive. And so if you really want to unlock more of this and you really want to step deeper into these teachings, I provide a system, a blueprint in which I take you through. And so one of my 3 programs that I have is called Pathway to Purpose. And this is a 7-week immersion that really takes you through all of these first 4 Gene Keys in depth, right? And we contemplate together. I provide intuitive guidance, coaching, support along the way, because we hop on weekly live calls as a group. Our last cohort was just finished up, was incredible. People have just had profound experiences and breakthroughs, which I'll share with you. But, overall, I've been doing this work for a while. And for me, what I've seen in, all of my spaces being transformational, but this being sort of at the top, I get emotional thinking about it, about the realizations and the clarity that people have as a result of going through this work. And so I would be so honored to be offering this to each and every one of you. The next cohort starts on May 5th. I'm just going to share my screen for 2 minutes here, just to kind of give you an idea of what this is all about. And if you feel the call, I'll put that in the chat for you guys, so you can learn more about the actual program. You can just go to everything in here and look it up and see for yourself on my website. You can scroll down to this program. But nonetheless, this is called Pathway to Purpose. And as I mentioned, we go through these 7 weeks. There's an integration week in between. And this is really to help you unlock those gifts. Right now, you may have had a preview of that, but we go much deeper into teachings and we go into the breath work and really amplify the experience with that every single week for 7 weeks. So the first week is all about values and vision, really bringing that to life, because that sets the foundation for you to step into your life's work, into your evolution, radiance, and purpose. And at the end, we go through this manifestation process of unlocking our dharma and stepping into that place of real, true purpose and service. And, the amount of unlocks people have had through going through this, including myself, when I went through with Richard and the whole Gene Keys team, profound shifts and changes in my own life and my relationships, and just in the most miraculous, synchronistic ways. So what's included, you get full access to your Gene Keys profile. And what I mean by that is that I help you unlock all of the different codes that are in there through not only the Gene Keys, but the line numbers. The line numbers, like I mentioned before, that's a whole masterclass in itself, but we go through the lines in great detail, because you start to understand your Gene Keys a lot better when you know your lines. So we do that. We do the weekly live calls and teachings. There's replays if you can't be there in person. We do group coaching and intuitive guidance for people that might be having questions or struggling with some sort of gene key. I just drop into a channel and be able to provide people insights into that for them. PDFs and workbooks. You get access to all the 64 gene key audio contemplations, which is a huge unlock because you also use your book alongside with the audios, and Richard's transmissions are amazing. And then you also get 1 year access to the Beats and Breath app. So I stack this thing with a lot of value because for me, I don't half-ass anything. I want people to actually receive like what they put in and the energy and time they put into this. And so if you're to do that, you walk away with a ton of value. And ideally walk away with a path forward. Just a few, I'm not going to read these verbatim, but just a few testimonials. I've had over 100 people go through these programs now. These are just a few. Basha had an incredible experience and really has now stepped into a true place of service in her life, and what she's doing now, it's amazing. Lloyd is from our last Gene Keys program, which we just finished up, and he had an amazing experience, deep dive, and he'll be joining me on my next program, which starts in May as well, Pathway to Love, which is through the Venus sequence. So, the people that have gone through this, it's people that are committed to the inner work. It's people that are committed to really being the embodiment of their highest potential and expression in their life, and really stepping forth into a place of joy, of fulfillment, of prosperity and abundance. Because truly, when you are living your purpose, abundance and prosperity naturally find you. It's not an elusive thing anymore. And so the idea here is, as you step into the embodiment of that, prosperity, abundance, joy, deeper fulfilling relationships all find and magnetize into your reality. This work is, I don't want to call it like, wizardry, but it almost is. It's magic. It works in a magical way. So anyways, our next program begins on May 5th. For anybody attending live, I'm giving a special deal for literally the next 24 hours. You can save $50 with that code, but it's only good for 24 hours because I'm releasing this to the list of like 300 people that signed up for this. And this won't apply unless you get it within 24 hours. So the full payment of this, of everything I mentioned, 7 weeks, it's $397. And that $397 covers the whole program. You get access to everything, replays, membership portal, lifetime access to the replays, everything I mentioned. If you want to do a payment plan, we have that for people that maybe can't pay in full for $149. So altogether, basically, if you were to do $149 payments in 3, you wouldn't save any money, but if you do the full payment and you put the code in, you would save $100 paying in full. So it'd be $347 in total if you paid in full. So we begin on May 5th. That's the next program. And honestly, like for me, it's always an intuitive thing. I don't think about money and the resistance and fear that comes up when it comes to spending money on myself and investing in my personal growth, because every time I've taken so many leaps in my life, and it's impacted me on just profound levels. So I don't want that fear to get in the way, and to really feel into your intuition. If these teachings resonate with you, I would love to have you there. If they haven't, all good. You can take what you learned today. I gave you hopefully a lot of value. You can apply it to your life and be on your way. But altogether, I know the right people always come into the space, and I would just be deeply, deeply humbled and honored to receive you into these containers. So again, I put the link in here. So the code is SoulQuest 50, and that will be applied. Again, this is the cheapest program I offer. So I'm just telling you that straight off, because like all my other programs to work with me, they're a little bit more costly, but I want to make this affordable because I truly want people to receive the wisdom, right? And so that code, by the way, only applies to the full payment. It doesn't apply to the payment plan. So if you want to do the payment plan, then you can absolutely do that. Just that code doesn't apply for that. So does anybody have any questions, any points of clarification? that I can help you out with based on this program, or does everybody feel pretty good? Okay, so Michelle asked the time. So if you want to register without credit card, just contact me and we'll take care of that, Joanne. And my email is hello@ChristopherAugust.co. I'm restoring the code right now. I realized that the code got inactive because of an expiration, but I'm putting that on as we speak right now. So I will apply that and it should work if you refresh the page in a few minutes. And other than that, yeah, guys, the time of the calls. So the times we take a poll when you get into the group, and then from there we decide the best times for everybody. Sometimes we alternate so everybody can make the calls, but generally we find a time that works for everybody. So this is starting on the 5th of May. So it'll be on the 5th of May that you can get access to this, and then we'll begin as a group with our first group call on Zoom. So this will be on Zoom every single week. Replays will go into a membership portal that you guys will get access to after you sign up. We'll get you access to the membership portal where you can dive right in. So anybody else have questions? Again, I'm sending you to my regular Gene Keys page, and then you can just scroll down from there. And then that will take you to my readings if you want to do a private experience, or this program, Pathway to Purpose. So no matter what, it should all be there for you. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out to me and I would be happy to support you on your path and to meet you there. So with that being said, just checking the chat, no more questions. How's everybody feeling? You good? Leave it room for open if anybody has anything else. Maya has a hand up. How can I help you? Welcome. If you're on mute.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I don't really do chat and typing, but I just wanted to say that was a great experience of breathing. Love the beats accompanied to the breathing. I know the Wim Hof method and a few different ones. I love the way when you're into the hold as opposed to the kind of the death breath, you know, the no oxygen. So it's lovely. I love Hof as well, but I really like your style and it's been a great experience. Thank you.
I'm so happy that you had a great experience. Thank you so much. And I'm glad it resonated with you. And thank you for being here, truly.
Yeah, I sent an email to you as well a while back. You might just check up on it.
I'll
message you again.
Yep.
That's all right.
All right. Guys, thank you so much. And if for some reason you don't end up joining me, I'm sure I'll see you on other master classes. But again, it would be great to have you there. And I know we'll create a powerful group synergy together. Every single group is amazing. So thank you guys. Much love to all of you. Thank you for your beautiful words and comments. And again, if you have questions, reach out to me, Instagram, Christopher_August, or my email at hello@ChristopherAugust.co. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and sending you much love. Peace.